Good morning. Hi, it's Stacy. We're going to start another walking in my shoes this morning. We're going to continue on our topic, building a loving, healthy relationship. And today we're going to finish, hopefully, what is a toxic relationship. It's really kind of important that we talk about that. Good morning, Michelle. Coffee. Yay. Hey, Melissa, I just want to point this out, y'all. This is my favorite coffee cup. It says hashtag not broken. Um, it came from Biddy and Bo's. This woman is an amazing little coffee shop, and you need to kind of find them if you live in that Charleston, Savannah market. Um, she has two children with Down syndrome, and she's hired all special needs people to work in Biddy and Bo's. And so when you walk in, these people are super, super, super happy, and they're always like, "Good morning." And they're like, "Welcome to Biddy and Bo's," and they're always happy, and it's one of my favorite places. So it's just one of my happy places. So in fact, I might have to go to Biddy and Bo's this weekend. Good morning, Shannon. All right, so we're going to talk about continuing our part on toxic relationships. You know, again, we tend to let ourselves live in this toxic environment, but our relationship with ourselves has to be non-toxic first, and when we become non-toxic we can share that. It has to do with our boundaries and our bubbles. And I think when we initially talked multiple months ago about setting boundaries, I kind of did it backwards. We really should have talked about ourselves and what boundaries we need to create for us, and that lets us create boundaries for others as well. So, one of the other things that happen in very toxic relationships are excessive jealousy. Excessive jealousy. Um, there's a lot of times that we'll hear that the veteran's jealous, or they feel like they make the accusations, "Oh, you're cheating," or it just goes on and on and on. The spouse finds, oh, they're sexting or they're talking to other women, and so this jealousy just kind of builds up. But I think when we really think about jealousy, the biggest issue we have, some of us, with jealousy is when our veteran becomes disengaged. Okay, when yay, Sue, I'm so excited. And yes, they can come on, the parents can come on, and they'll learn so much more. So invite her parents, please. Please invite her parents. So what happens is with our jealousy issues is when they're disengaged, when they're playing a video game, or they're not helping us around the house, or they're doing their time, and we see that it's their time. Okay, I think a lot of times we become jealous of that. We become jealous of that their time, and therefore it builds up resentment. Um, so we have to learn to let go of jealousy. Okay, we can't be jealous, and let me tell you, I have struggled with this for 51 years. I'm 54. My brother's 51. Um, I have been jealous of my brother his whole life. Don't ask me why. We chose different paths in our world. Um, I had babies early and struggled, and I was a paramedic and did these things. And my brother is vice president of the shipyard, okay, and he waited, and he has the house and the beach house and the boats and the cars. Well, I gave that up for the life I chose. And I kept feeling like I was a failure to everybody in my life because I didn't measure up financially on that same scale. So I became very jealous of my brother, and I built up resentment. And so jealousy will create a toxic relationship. I have not had the best relationship with my brother because I'm jealous and because it was toxic. It was toxic for me. So I have to learn to let that go. And we do that. We find ourselves doing that. Well, he just takes so much effort, and it's always about him, and what about me? And we hear it. And that becomes the jealousy. So we have to learn to let that jealousy go. When we stop, when there's real issues and we start addressing real issues, that jealousy, let's deal with the real issues, but let's don't be jealous of the time. And that is a hard thing to let go. If probably everything I've talked about, letting go of the jealousy has been the biggest issue. Has been the biggest issue. You know, my dream car, I don't even know why I think this is like the total dream car, but I want a Cadillac SUV. And not the big one, like the size down. And every time I see one, I'm like, what do those people do to get that? And I had to let all that go. You know, if I can get from point A to point B, I'm better than a lot of people in this world. So just because it has a stupid Cadillac symbol on it doesn't make it the best car on the planet, okay? So we have to let that jealousy go, or if you don't, you build up resentment and anger. And we already know that when we build up resentment and anger, it's like putting a big pimple up inside of our bubble. So there are things we have to let go, and we have to not be jealous. It is a very hard thing to do. Very hard thing to do. You know, we'll be in veteran groups and we'll be looking, and somebody's gotten tier 1 caregiver support, somebody else doesn't get caregiver support, and somebody's on tier 2. The people who are on tier 1 and don't get it seem to be jealous of the people who aren't. Do you realize that that's because their spouse is sicker? And they're taking more time with them? So think about where that puts you in the pettiness of a mindset. Well, they got caregiver level 2 and they're getting this and I'm not getting it and I've been denied. Well, hello. It means your veteran isn't as sick. It doesn't require quite as much. And people get jealous over this. I know that Carl and I do it all the time. He will, not that he's jealous of loving my veteran, but he wants the time with us time. And so there's times he's like, you know, that's all that matters to you. And it isn't all that matters to me, but I keep forgetting sometimes that loving my veteran is truly about loving my veteran. So I have to take that and think about that to reduce that so he doesn't feel like there's a third thing in our life. He's got to be the most important. But we all do it. We all tend to hold jealousy. And jealousy is toxic. Jealousy is toxic. You have to let the jealousy go. You can't be jealous. It is toxic. So it's very important to let that go. The next thing that happens in toxic relationships is that when we tend to bring out the worst in each other. And I see that. I see that in my own relationship. I see that in so many other relationships. I've seen that in my relationship with a lot of people for a very long time. When Carl and I are good, we bring out the best in each other. When Carl and I are good, we bring out the best in each other. Okay? There are days that he's not as good. And when he's not as good, whether it's something, whatever going on, or I'm not as good, when either one of those happen and the venom starts spewing and the hateful words start coming out, we bring out the worst in each other. So think about your actions, because here's the thing, it's still your space. Do you want the world to see the best of you or the worst of you? Do you want to give the world the best of you or the worst of you? So you can't let other people bring out the worst in you. I do it. Y'all, my tongue is my sword. My tongue is my sword. I use it to bring out the worst in everybody when I use it. And it is wrong. But I let people bring out the worst in me. I worry about how people think about me. And then I get mad, and then I get pissy, and then I start spewing venom. And what happens? Don't let people bring out the worst in you. Don't let people bring out the worst in you. I have to work on this. This is my work on point. For the next 21 days, this is my work on point. Remember, 21 days makes it a habit. I can't allow people to bring out the worst in me. And I do it because of all the other stuff. The excessive jealousy. It brings out the worst in me. So that is my new bubble wall. Nobody will bring out the worst in me. Okay? You're not going to do that anymore. If I can't give the best of me, I'm not giving it. And if you're going to come into my space and create me to bring out the worst in me, you're not coming in my bubble. You can